What is up, you guys? Today, I'm going to talk about exactly how I plan to approach the markets within the next couple of weeks. If you guys didn't already, go back and check out the video that I made about a week and a half ago saying prepare for a correction. And it's like every single time I make one of these videos, it's only ever been twice. I don't talk about stock market crashes on this channel. I don't talk about stock market corrections on this channel. I don't do it on my second channel, which is all about trading stocks. But the two times I've done it, both times right the day, like literally the day that I made a video, they dumped. The last one was the Rona, the day that everything, crashed, the worst day in like the 10-year history of the past 10 years in the market. And then most recently I made that video on the correction, and then the market dumped like 4%. It could, potentially dump another 5%. But in that video, I kind of laid out, like, as an investor and as a trader, how I would approach trading. But what I want to explain in this video is exactly my rules and exactly what I'm doing as a trader, and we will touch base a little bit on it as an investor. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Peter DiCarlo. I run and I'm the president of a company called Capitalist Academy. We're going to do about $330,000 to $340,000 in revenue this year. I do run a private mentorship group, and I have two YouTube channels. This one and then my second one that's more basically all about trading, and that one's called Traders Helping Traders. Any link I'm affiliated to or any channel or anything is in the description. So while this video is going to be more about actually trading, less than, investing, I try to keep it really only about investing on this channel. This video is important to get an idea of what I'm doing if you are a trader, and we will briefly talk about it as far as investing is considered. So the most important thing to do right now, in my personal opinion, is number one, protect your capital. I talk about this all the time, but at the end of the day, guys, it's one of the most important things, because if you don't have money to invest with, if you don't have money to trade with, then it doesn't really matter, because this is your lifeblood. Cash is your lifeblood. You always hear Warren Buffett like, don't lose money, don't lose money, don't lose money. There's a big difference if you're an investor or a trader in just, bag holding something because you don't want to take a loss on something. That's not what I'm saying, right? If you feel like you're overextended, if you feel like for some reason you don't like these positions that you're in, or if you're in a trade that you're just bag holding, like, don't be afraid to cut it. But the most important thing is to just make sure that you have the capital to live through whatever is about to happen. It could just be nothing. But most importantly, that you can, get back in the game. For every 50% loss, guys, I always say this. So for every 50% loss, it will take you a 100% gain just to get that money back. Like, just to get back to even, it's going to take you 100%, let alone if you lose 75% of your portfolio or 80% of your portfolio or 90% of your portfolio. It's extremely important to understand that. So for me, one of the ways that I'm going to limit this, and one of the ways that I plan to do this, is to do nothing but, and you guys don't have to do this if you're, a long-term investor or whatnot, but I'm going to do nothing but sell covered puts or cash secured puts. If you guys don't know what they are, I have a lot of videos on this channel speaking about it. But the beauty about selling covered puts or cash secured puts is that if the stock does, go down, and I have my put set, like, maybe at a 5% loss, that's when my strike is going to be, I will end up just purchasing that stock. So to give you guys like a better example, I'm not doing this, but let's just say that I was doing something with like Tesla in this example, and Tesla's trading at like, let's just say $780 a share. If I wanted to, and let's say, like, it's trading up around here, I could set, a strike price, let's just say, of like $740 a share. And all I'm doing with this is saying that if Tesla falls to $740 a share, I will buy 100 shares of Tesla at that price. So the worst case scenario is I just buy, shares of a company that I really like. But when you do this, you get a premium. Let's say that the premium is, I believe right now, it's something along the lines actually of like $700. So if it falls to the strike price, I get to buy the stock at 740, which is 100 shares, that'd be 74 grand, and I get $700 just for participating in that exchange. But let's say that, instead the stock actually just goes straight up. Well, in that instance, I get my money back because it closed above 740 and I get to keep my $700. And then what I would do is just every single week continue to sell, and then just keep, cashing in some money each and every week, which is always good. Now, there are times where that doesn't work. For instance, let's just say the stock really, really drops and the whole market crashes. That's not going to help you. But still, if you're selling covered puts or cash secured puts on companies that you really like for the long term, that is one of the best ways to really still make some consistent income, even as a long-term investor. Like, let's just say that, right now, Apple is trading at, I don't know the exact price, it's probably like 145 today, but you really want to own it at 130. You could just sell cash secure puts each and every week for $130 and you'll just collect a small amount of money. But if the market really does drop, you will end up entering and filling on that position. So at the end of the day, that's a great way to do it. It's a great way to invest, and that's something that I really, really like to do as a trader and even as a long-term investor. Now, the third thing, my third rule that I'm going to be doing right now is only buying, or entering, I should say, a position in the quote value zone. So if you guys are in my academy, in my private group, you guys will know what the value zone is. But the value zone, when trading, for those of you who don't know, is essentially when the stock is between the 11 EMA. So this would be like your 11 EMA. That's a poor drawing, but this would be like your 11 EMA and then between your 22 EMA, and my 22 EMA would, let's just say, like be right here. So you want to buy between those. That's going to be your value zone. But if you're a long-term investor, one of the best ways to think of it this way is only buying a stock when it is at a price that you would love to own it. Don't go buying a stock if it's not at the price that you want to own it at. If you're somebody who just dollar cost average, yeah, that's not bad. Continue dollar cost averaging, continue doing what you're doing. But at the end of the day, if you're someone who's like, oh man, Palantir's at like 25, I really want Palantir at 20. That's what I would pay for it. That's what I think the company is valued at. But I don't feel like waiting. I'm just going to buy in at 25. I wouldn't be doing that. And as a trader, I would not be entering a position, even selling covered calls, or even selling covered puts, like I spoke about earlier. I still would not be entering a position unless it is setting up very, very, very well. Like, to the point where I would risk everything on it, even though you're not going to. It's poor mentality to have. Now, the fourth thing for me, and this is more for traders, is I'm only buying if big money is hitting it. So if you guys don't know what big money is buying. So there are a ton of different types of scanners and a ton of different types of software that you can use to watch big money buys. I use something called Black Box Stocks. I really, really like the company, but there's a lot of different ways. Basically, I want to know that if I'm risking my money right now, especially on a trade, that big money, the whales, the sharks, they're doing it as well. There are a lot of ways to hedge a position, and big money sometimes does hedge that, but there are ways for somebody like me to take a look at a position and say to myself, like, okay, right now, I think that they're not hedging this position. They're actually really going to buy. And so what positions I have right now as a trader, they are positions that big money is buying heavily and that I feel really, really good in, because if big money is willing to risk their money, they have way more resources, way more money than I do. So I might as well as, take their advice on that. And then the fifth thing is to have a goal that is very, very modest, right? Right now, to make a 2% per month return is really, really good. And some of you guys might be like, 2%, that ain't nothing. And some of you guys might be like, 2%, like that's awesome, right? For a lot of you long-term investors, 2% a month, that's really good. That's about 24% a year. Some people are happy just to beat the S&P 500, make 9-10% a year. The way that I make 2% a month pretty easily is just by selling covered puts, because your average position with about an 80% chance of profit usually is going to pay 0.5%. And then if you want to have a little bit more risk in a position, and instead of doing like 0.5% for an 80% chance of profit, you could do like a 70% chance of profit for a 1% return, which would end up being 52% a year. That's normally what I like to do. But when the market is trading how it is right now, my goal is just not losing money. Like, my goal ultimately comes back to number one, which we spoke about earlier, and that's just protecting your capital. That's what I'm really looking for as an investor and as a trader right now. But 2% per month, that's my goal. I don't like saying 0.05% per week, because I'm sorry, not 0.05. No, that wouldn't be right. 0.50% per week, I don't like saying per weekly because some weeks you might do really bad, some weeks you might do really good, right? Like let's say this week I lose 1%, then I make 1.5% next week, then I lose 1%, then I make 1.5% the next week. I'm still going to be net positive for the month. But I don't really like looking at it per week basis because it's just not really worth it. And then if you are somebody who is a trader and you want to do something a little risky, or if you're somebody who's an investor and you want to do something a little risky, the kind of bonus thing I would say is keep it small. Really use a small amount of money in this instance. For me, I do have one straight up options play right now, but it's only like $300. That's really all I'm looking to do. I'm not willing to risk a ton of money right now because the most important thing, protect your capital. That is the most single-handed thing that I want you guys to walk away from this from. And a lot of you guys are probably like, "Oh yeah, no shit." But no, it's true. Like really protect everything that you have. You can put some hedges in place. So if you guys do want me to talk about hedging, how to hedge a portfolio, how I hedge things, let me know in the comment section. Let me know down below. I'd love to do a video on it. Anything you guys have any questions or comments or anything you guys want me to know, put it down in the description. If you have any video ideas or anything you want me to talk about, let me know. On this channel, I've been trying to steer away from like trading because that's all my main channel, traders helping traders. I'm trying to do this more about long-term investing. So I've been putting a lot of real estate videos out. I'm going to be putting a lot of business videos out, sales videos, as well as long-term investing videos as well, because all of those go hand in hand. Very rarely will you meet somebody who has legitimate wealth, but they don't know anything about the stock market, or maybe they know the stock market, but they don't know anything about business building or anything about investing. It all goes hand in hand as well as your mentality. So guys, I hope this video helps. Hit the like button, subscribe, go ahead and check out everything I'm affiliated with down below. We do have a private and a free Discord, so you can go ahead and check both those out. And if you want to be part of my mentorship program, it is 100% free your first month. You go ahead and check that out in the description. Guys, thank you for all the support, and I'll see you next time tomorrow. Peace.